Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books and marketing expert covering woke controversies. Target blames you. They figured out who's responsible for all of their boycotts, the pushback, the low stock price, all the problems they have over their pride displays and LGBT clothing for kids. It's your fault. Target CEO defends the decision to remove pride displays and pledges to support the LGBT community. We're going to read his letter to employees, and he calls out the bad guys in his letter. Before we get into this article, please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate you guys. Target CEO Brian Cornell is defending his company's controversial decision to pull LGBT celebration merchandise from some southern stores just days before Pride Month in June. What is he doing? So they're pulling merchandise supposedly from all their stores. We've also seen it reported that it's only in some stores. So far, they've lost $9 billion in a week. This is for something like a $74 billion company, so it's actually a huge chunk of the value of their company. An investment fund has said they're selling their stock over Target's woke agenda and will refuse to buy the stock under any circumstances. A Target spokesman told Insider the move was a response to threats impacting our team members' sense of safety and well-being. And it's good for them to want to protect their employees. They need to have a sense of safety. Let's take a look at some of the rioting going on inside some of the Target stores over this Pride merchandise. This is devastating. I mean, to just see what these MAGA Republicans have done to Target stores only over Pride merchandise. I mean, who would think that they'd have the right to go in there and terrorize these poor employees and destroy all of this valuable merchandise? Well, actually, it's not MAGA Republicans that did this. This was from a Black Lives Matter riot in a Democrat-controlled city. And you didn't see Target making any announcements about that. This is what the MAGA guys were actually doing, if they were even MAGA Republican guys. A guest took down their Pride merchandise. A guest came in today in all black clothing and took down all of our Pride stuff and put it in carts. Team members thought it was a vendor and management didn't know. Kind of getting out of control, to be honest. So someone just came in and took down the Pride merchandise and put it away in carts. This person is a Target employee and they're skeptical that it has anything to do with protecting the security of the employees. They're just worried about something else, which probably is the stock price. But even so, while Target is saying they're pulling back on some of the displays and some of the merchandise, and I've seen spotty reports from one place or another where they are taking it down, places where they're not taking it down, what Target is really worried about is their stock price. They need to kind of get control of this because what's going on at Bud Light could very easily be happening at Target, and Bud Light is in a much worse situation than anybody knows. It's not being publicly put out. Yes, their stock is down about $20 billion. It's not 15.7, $20 billion since the Dylan Mulvaney promotion, but they're due to lose about another $25 billion over the next several months because within Bud Light's last 52 weeks, their lowest stock price had them at around an $89 billion valuation. This kind of damage by the public deciding, you know what, we don't want to buy what you're trying to sell, can severely affect the company and the value of their stock. And at some point, yes, they want to push their woke agenda. Yes, it's important to getting pushed by BlackRock and Vanguard to do that. But at some point, they do back off because people are worried about their careers, like Alyssa Heinerscheid, who was thrown out of Bud Light, used to be a vice president, made great money. Now she's on leave, probably never to come back. And all she has on her resume is her Bud Light controversy. That's not going to help her career. Her career is over. In an email to staff late Wednesday, Cornell addressed team members in stores, service centers, and planning departments, as well as making a general statement to the LGBT community. Insider has obtained a verified copy of the email, which is quoted in full below. Note the name briefly refers to the company newsletter. Team, I want the end of the day. So this is from their CEO, Brian Cornell. Team, I want to end the day where briefly started, on a note of care. This has been a very hard day for Target, and it follows many difficult days of deliberation and decision-making. To our team in stores, thank you for steadfastly representing our values. No one is better at working through uncomfortable situations in service to an inclusive guest experience. What you've seen in recent days went well beyond discomfort and has been gut-wrenching to see what you confronted in our aisles. To our team in the service centers, thank you for your patience and professionalism through high volumes of angry, abusive, and threatening calls. Again, not exactly what they saw with the Black Lives Matter reactions to Target. I mean, not nearly. So why you're gonna call out people who don't like your pride displays and equate them with worse than this, it kind of makes you wonder. I recognize how difficult and even frightening those interactions can be, and thank you for the composure with which you fielded those comments. To the teams who've been working so hard on our plans for Pride and are now showing incredible agility as we adjust, thank you. Your efforts will ensure we can still show up and celebrate Pride in meaningful ways. To the LGBT community, one of the hardest parts in all of this was trying to contemplate how the adjustments we're making to alleviate these threats to our team's physical and psychological safety would impact you and your well-being and psychological safety. We stand with you now and will continue to do so, not just during Pride Month, but each and every day. Those were the two guiding principles when it came time for us to act. Do all we can to keep our team safe, and do all we can to honor our commitment and connection to the LGBT community. What about taking care of customers and addressing customers' concerns? I don't really see that in here. And understandable, that's not necessarily what the employees are thinking about, but it's something that the CEO should be talking about, saying, look, we want to do what we can for you and for the community, but of course we need to listen to our customers. We don't exist without our customers, as they are about to find out, because the boycott is only getting worse for Target. From a host of difficult alternatives, we have sincerely sought the best path forward, finding ways to recognize Pride Month while making adjustments to prioritize safety. As always, we're stronger together. Where have I heard that before? And I want you to know that I'm committed to doing all that I can and all we can as a company to support a culture across the country of care, empathy, equity, and simple civility, in hopes that we will not have to face these kinds of agonizing decisions in the future. Thank you for the care you've shown each other, our frontline teams, and the LGBT community. What about their customers? It's one thing to say, listen, yes, we want you employees to help us serve the LGBT community, and we're sorry that you've been made to feel uncomfortable because not everybody wants to accept all the stuff that we're pushing with our kids' LGBT clothing. However, what about any kind of statement recognizing that we realize some of our customers are not comfortable with our social push for the LGBT community. And we also realize this is very damaging potentially to our future as a company because we've lost so much money in the value of our stock, which employees own depending on what their different situations are. But they should be respecting their investors as well. This is not good for the company as a healthy business. It doesn't do anything for the company. It doesn't do anything for their investors. It doesn't do anything for employees having a future with the company. It's pretty amazing to see that all they can do is blame their customers who've actually been the ones who built this company by putting money into it and not take any responsibility for obviously pushing their displays far too much for the level of any social comfort within who their customers are. Who are they selling this for anyway, if not their customers? What exactly are they trying to do? Well, one of the things they're trying to do is what's called normalization. Normalization, and I love to cover this, refers to, in sociology, social normalization, the process through which ideas and behaviors that may fall outside of social norms come to be regarded as normal. So that tuck-friendly clothing, the LGBT pride clothing, the satanic merchandise that they've been putting into their stores, all of that is supposed to become normal in your culture. What's that going to do for your culture or to your culture? I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's going to be very good, but that is what the agenda is. And, you know, Americans were not always consumers. This is a fantastic documentary I love talking about, The Century of the Self by Adam Curtis, a BBC documentarian and journalist. And The Century of the Self covers how in the early 1900s, Americans were essentially brainwashed and trained to become consumers. Public relations was invented by Edward Bernays during that period. He was a relative of Sigmund Freud. The whole purpose of this agenda pushing is to control the population and train them into the behaviors that powerful interests want them to be. Fascinating documentary. I'll make sure I have a link to it in the comments below. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Do you think it's all your fault if you're one of the people who were upset or disappointed or shocked to see kids' LGBT clothing where they're presenting this as normal and they're promoting it within their stores, right up front in their stores, other satanic merchandise, other things themed around Pride Month that create a situation for parents where they really need to avoid certain parts of the store if they don't want to expose their children to this, which sometimes is not even possible because it's put way up front in the store. Let me know what you think of all that in the comments below. Who's responsible for that? And what should Target really be doing about this to fix this with their customers, the people that keep them in business? What should they do? And how should they handle their investors? Let me know what you think. Always love to read your comments. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another video. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.